Doctor Strange is the brand new movie about this guy. Doctor Strange is the latest movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's directed by Scott Derrickson and stars Benedict Cumberbatch, Rachel McAdams, Mads Mikkelsen, Tilda Swinton, and this guy. I can't really pronounce his name, but it's that guy. This movie is Marvel's first real foray into magic. In Thor, it's essentially explained as their science, and it's kind of like merged together, as they put it, in the Thor universe in Asgard. But in this, it's magic, and they don't shy away from it at all. They fucking jump right in. And because of that, or at least partially because of that, this movie is fucking visually stunning. It is amazing to look at. There are parts that, a lot of it will definitely remind you of Inception, but it's even more mind-bendy than that. Some of it kind of reminds me of Dark World, but better special effects. It's just really fucking good to look at. It has its own great visual style. And because of all like the moving pieces, the way they make it look, the way everything bends around, it creates some really good and interesting and well done action sequences. This movie opens with Benedict Cumberbatch essentially playing Gregory House. Although he doesn't use a cane, and he's a different type of doctor, essentially the same guy. He's cantankerous, he's kind of a douche, you like him anyway, and he's brilliant. What I find kind of funny about that though is House is Holmes. He's Sherlock Holmes. So it's House and Wilson, Holmes and Watson. That's where it comes from. And he essentially is playing that character. And Benedict Cumberbatch is very famous for playing Sherlock. And now that I think of it, Marvel Cinematic Universe now has 2 Sherlock Holmes. And DC has 2 Robin Hoods. Huh. So anyway, to get back on track, he's a really brilliant and arrogant doctor, and it's his arrogance that really gets him into trouble and kind of fucks up his hands, so he's not able to be this surgeon anymore. He's not able to do the thing that essentially defined him. Because of that, he goes out on this search to try to heal himself. He tried all the conventional ways, tried to get people to do normal surgeries on him. Didn't work out, so he's going to try something new now. That leads him to this temple where he's going to essentially be Batman and Batman Begins, but with fucked up hands and less of a tough guy. There he meets the Ancient One, played by Tilda Swinton, who I think was brilliantly cast, actually. And there's people bitching about whitewashing, and I don't really know the character from the comics, but I can say that casting Tilda Swinton as a character that might be traditionally played by an Asian person just kind of gives this otherworldly appearance and feel to her that may not otherwise be there, because it would kind of be somewhat stereotypical if it was just an older Asian person playing that role, as opposed to, if she looks kind of young, white bald woman. It kind of adds this level of mystique that I don't necessarily think would have been there. This guy plays her right-hand man, and they together decide to teach Doctor Strange how to be Super Doctor Strange, essentially. And he learns magic, and it's done in actually a really interesting way. The way they present it in the movie, as I mentioned earlier, is visually stunning, but it's introduced. It's just kind of interesting. You're following this character that doesn't really know about it, so you're seeing it brand new for the first time as well. And he comes at it at first very much like a non-believer, like somebody, what the fuck is this? I'm a doctor, I'm brilliant, and you're going to say that I need to just imagine myself getting better and I'll get better, or I need to imagine these things and they'll happen. Benedict Cumberbatch does a great job throughout the entire film. He does a really good job at the beginning, being an arrogant dickhead, and then being less so, and showing kind of his change and his arc over the film, and he has great timing for the comedy bits to it. And there is actually a decent amount of comedy throughout the movie, and I think it's well placed. Sometimes it might be a little over the top, but at least it was still being funny. I can't think of any jokes that really fell flat for me, at least not to the point where it hurt the movie. If any did, I just kind of didn't notice it. Mads Mikkelsen plays the main villain, and I think he's serviceable, but he's a creepy dude in general, so he lends that to his role, but it's kind of the same as a lot of the Marvel movies or a lot of the superhero movies in general, where the villain's pretty weak. And it's unfortunately, it's not really much of an exception for this movie. He is serviceable, but not really much more. They didn't flesh out his character great. If you want to see a great villain in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you have two really good options. Watch Daredevil Season 1 and see Kingpin, or watch Jessica Jones and see whatever the purple dude's name is. I can't remember it right now. But that guy, and they're both great. Rachel McAdams is also good in the movie. She doesn't play like the stereotypical love interest or girlfriend. She's a stronger character in that, and she's also a doctor. And what I liked about that is it actually played into the movie. Later on, her being a doctor really does make a difference. So I really like kind of her inclusion into the story and how well it seemed to fit in. Also, a nice thing about Rachel McAdams is she finally gets to be in a Marvel movie. She was almost Pepper Potts back 8 years ago in the first Iron Man, but that ended up, for one reason or another, not happening. But now she finally gets to be in another one with another goateed superhero wearing red. As I mentioned a couple of times, the visuals really are amazing, and the ending is no exception to that. It looks visually stunning, but the fight is kind of a letdown. There's not that much of a fight to be had. And while I will say I like the resolution of the end, I like how Doctor Strange goes about taking on the villain. I like that solution. I like that part of the ending, but I just think it was a little anticlimactic. So overall, Doctor Strange is a really good movie and better, frankly, than I was expecting it to be. I definitely recommend you check it out in theaters, especially if you can see it in IMAX or IMAX 3D, because the visuals, in case you haven't caught it from the 5 other times I've fucking said it, are fucking amazing in this movie. There are some weaker parts, like I think the villain's a little weak, but overall I would say it's a very solid movie. Doctor Strange is rated A-. So given that Doctor Strange is a movie about a doctor, name a doctor that you really like from a movie or a TV show. I'll broaden it out a little bit. One I really like is Dr. Cox from Scrubs. He's always quick with an insult. He has the greatest fucking rants. And he was great for all 8 seasons of Scrubs. No, the fucking 9th season doesn't count. That was Scrubs Med School, and it was a bullshit spinoff. But he was even good on that. So again, name a doctor that you really like from either a TV show or a movie. Make your mark below in the comment section. Please like, share, and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. Mads Mikkelsen and this guy. And this guy, I can't really pronounce his name. I'd probably like call him Emoji or some shit. No, that's not right. This movie is Marvel's first real four-way. Name a movie... Because I don't know how you could possibly fucking know that. What? Yay. How stupid do I want to look in the outtakes? We'll find out. If you're watching this, apparently fucking really stupid.